Not bad, huh? And it was in these early days of, like I say, around 20 years ago, when Steve and I were discovering this area and were so turned on by it. There were these three writers in particular, Thomas Berry, Brian Swimme, and Matthew Fox. And they were all talking about cosmology. And they were referring to each other. And I think the fact that there was three authors that were all reflecting how important, just really central to them was the power of cosmology. I mean, there were other people who were talking about it, certainly Miriam McGillis and other folks that certainly dealt with it, Charlene Spretnak, Joanna Macy, and folks, but it was really this triumvirate of Berry, Swimme, and Fox that helped crystallize in my mind that this was a field, new cosmology. And so it's an honor to bring up, as my first guest speaker, a cosmologist, professor of cosmology, an author, a great friend and teacher. Brian actually came to Prescott College 2 years later after Thomas in 1994 and gave a fantastic talk. And Brian, I'm just really honored to have you as a friend and as a mentor. Brian Swimme, ladies and gentlemen. Another mic. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Drew, for inviting me. You didn't mention any shooting stars going across the sky when I was at Prescott.
As I recall, you brought your two sons, and you challenged 3 Chapel Hillians to a basketball game.
I always bring that up.
That didn't turn out so well, did it?
I'm ready for a challenge anytime. My son's right here. We can play tonight.
A little busy tonight. But I wanted to, bring you out here to honor you and honor, your cosmological vision. Because there's lots of people who know a little bit about the stars and the galaxies, but there's only one Brian Swimme. There's only one person who is helping us understand. This is part of what Thomas Berry was saying. He was saying, you scientists, you don't understand the meaning of your own discoveries. So I think you're one of the few people on the planet that's really helping us understand the deep meaning of the scientific discoveries. And so as I was thinking about this and kind of the 20-year journey that I've been on and the journey of the book, I was thinking also about your journey. What was it about cosmology that caused you to dedicate your life to cosmology? What's important about it?
For me, it was when I was a young professor. And you have these images, you have these dreams when you're young about how you'll become a scientist and a professor, and you'd be dedicating your life to wisdom. And then when I became a university professor, it slowly became clear to me that, it took a while, but it became clear to me that the university system was largely owned, by business, basically. And I started to fall apart, because it was my dream of my life. And then I actually, I discovered this great essay by Thomas called The New Story. And then I realized that the way in which the university was structured was too small. That literally 90% of physicists in the United States, when I was a young professor, were working one way or another for the military. In other words, they had military money. And so, but none of this is talked about. But you slowly start to feel, the great moment for me was when one of the professors I admired most resigned. And at the coffee hour, I said, why? And he got a job with Pillsbury. I said, well, what are you going to do with Pillsbury? He was a chemist, and he...
Did you say, it's the doughboy?
That's really what's going on. But it was, he gave me a description, a scientific description of the research you'd be doing there. And he was a chemist, and I didn't really understand it. I said, well, what is it about? He said, well, we're trying to make sugar that is slippery, so it slips off the teeth, because, you know, some mothers are upset about the teeth decay. Anyway, so I was falling apart, found the new story by Thomas Berry, realized, wow, there's another way to live a life. And so it was this idea that it's one idea, that we were supposed to go to the university to find our place in the universe. So that's what led me out of that world into the world of trying to teach cosmology, so to teach how we can find our way in the universe.
What does a renewed sense of cosmology give us that our culture lacks?
In a sense, I think it gives us a source of energy. I think that to begin to realize that we are primarily not Democrats, Republicans, or Americans, or Christians, or Buddhists, or French, you know, or consumers, but we're primarily cosmological beings, and so that we're actually filled with energy that is primarily not the energy of business or the U.S. government. It's the energy of the cosmos. And so to find that we actually have even a role, and that we're in the middle of a great happening. It's all happening, and that there's a meaning there that goes beyond any of these short-term and perverted endeavors that are surrounding us. I think gives a sense of meaning, and even a sense of peace in the midst of struggle, because you realize that we're just a wave of energy, and with any luck, we can feel it moving forward into the future. That's one of the reasons I like you.
Wow. You can see why I like Brian Swimme. So, Brian, do you want to say something about the book?
I do. I want to stand up, and I wrote it's really, I would call it, it's a prayer. The energies of our universe came forth 14 billion years ago. They gathered together to form galaxies and stars, which blew up and created new systems, life. And that energy, that transformative energy, is coursing through all of us right now. But there's a way in which it lies coiled in the poetry of Dellinger. More so than any other book I know, cosmic energies that are ready to leap forth into your lives, like coiled right here. Thank you, Drew.